Bonehead?
Hey, do you know about the U.S.?
You wish.
Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution?
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
learn about the USA.
No.
You work with LaBouffe?
I think that's how you say it. Maybe you say LeBeau, maybe?
I might be saying it wrong.
Yes,
yeah, I don't know. You know, that's funny because I asked him if he was saying it right, and he didn't tell me. So.
Oh, okay. I think
yeah.
he works an opposite shift. We work for the same
Oh,
shift.
I see. You both work at nights, but...
In a different shift.
I see. So your shift respects the Constitution?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My job is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
I like you already, Jason Johnson. Yeah,
Yes,
no, LeBeau or LaBouffe or whatever it is, he doesn't respect the Constitution at all.
I believe that every United States police officer's job is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
We're going to be best friends. Do you carry one?
The Constitution in my heart.
Oh, not in your pocket?
No, sir.
Well, there's still room for improvement.
Always.
Do you know every word?
Not every word, because my mind is not big enough to hold every word.
No? All right. Well, how about the first sentence of the Fourth Amendment?
The Fourth Amendment is to protect individual rights from search and seizure.
But you don't know the first sentence?
Probably not off the top of my head, only because I've been at work for over 12 hours now. So
The right of the people
the right of the people
to be secure
yes,
in their
from the
person.
government, from
No.
taking you from us taking your stuff from you, from us coming into your homes, from us coming into your cars. That's the gist of it.
Well, there's the gist, but then there's actually the literal words.
Okay.
And
Please.
the right of the people to be secure in their person. Okay, now that sounds like a funny sentence,
No,
but
what that means is I cannot search you without probable cause or warrant.
well, it says that you can search a person if you have probable cause.
Correct.
But what it is also saying is that the people have a right to be in their person. And just like the freedom of speech, you have the right to make speech. You have the right not to make speech.
That's true.
You have the right to believe in religion. You have the right not to believe in religion.
That's very
So,
true.
by the same respects, if the people have the right, okay, the people have the rights.
Okay.
Now, if the people have the right to be in their person, they also have the right not to be in their person.
Okay.
And this is critical because your codes, like speeding,
Okay.
apply to persons.
Okay.
They say no person shall do this or no person shall do that.
Okay.
But they never say the people cannot do this or do that.
Okay.
Right? So the Fourth Amendment is cluing us in that there's a difference between people and persons.
Okay.
It's the first time the word person was used in the Constitution.
As opposed to people.
As opposed to people. People is always used in reference to rights and powers.
Okay.
And persons are used in reference to getting seized, searched, working in the government, privileges and immunities. Right? Like the 14th Amendment says any person born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the authority thereof is a citizen and shall not be deprived of any privileges or immunities. But
Right.
privileges and immunities are not rights and powers. Can
That's
we
very
agree?
true.
Right.
I agree.
And sometimes they might look the same. Right? Like right now, you have the privilege of freedom of religion, whereas I have the right.
Okay.
You see, because yours has been messed with. Like, you can't really preach it when you're wearing the uniform, because
Oh,
separation of church and state,
absolutely.
right? And your freedom of speech is actually a privilege, and it's been messed with. You have to wear that uniform,
Right.
which is freedom of expression,
Right.
right? And like, you don't have the freedom of the press right now.
Right.
So it's been messed with. And if you were one of the people, then it could not be denied. It could not be deprived. It could not be abridged, right?
Okay.
But persons are different.
Okay.
I think you kind of understand what I'm saying.
I think
like
you and I are on the same plane.
Constitutionalist.
Absolutely. I am a strict constitutionalist.
All right. Well, there's an argument to being strict and there's an argument to being loose, but nobody ever says you can't use the literal translation. Nobody will say that.
Right.
They will say, well, it could be stretched.
Rand Paul
Right,
would
like
say
right to bear arms. Like me, I would say, well, I'm not quite sure. Right? Literally, if you read it literally, it says the people, in order to have a regulated militia, right to bear arms, right? But it's not really specific like what arms are.
Right.
You know what I mean? But whereas like the freedom of the press, okay, that's a specific word.
Right.
And it cannot be denied from the people, So press, like right now, am I pressing on?
Right.
Right? In the freedom of assembly, am I assembling forth?
Right.
Right? In the freedom of religion, am I legioning about?
Right.
See, these are literal definitions of those words, So, like, whereas we could say that it's a privilege to drive,
Okay.
right? I have no argument there.
Oh,
it's a
100%.
privilege to drive.
100%.
But is everybody driving?
In the world?
No, are all these cars, are all of them driving? I mean, it looks like they're pressing on, assembling forth, legioning about, sounding off, pursuing happiness,
I see what you're saying.
right? And driving does have a specific definition, codified,
Right.
right? And
In the
it's not
text-based code,
it's
yeah.
not the same definition that we use in
Right.
everyday walk around, like motor vehicle has its own definition. It's two words put together, but it has its own definition for motor vehicle.
Correct. Each
Right.
word has its own definition.
Yeah, but it's a compound word. It's
Correct.
not like you take the definition of motor and you add it to the definition of vehicle and you
Correct.
get motor vehicle.
Correct.
That's an illusion that many of us might believe. But, I think we're on the same page that I think all of these cars, I don't think they're driving. I don't think they're motor vehicles. This is definitely a motor vehicle.
Okay.
I mean, you see where I'm going?
I sure do.
Well, and I'm not saying it's just commerce, right? Because it says any person. Definition of driving and motor vehicle is a motor vehicle has to be driven by a person. A motor vehicle, or to drive, you have to be a person, right? And a
Right.
person is more than just commerce.
Right.
Like you're a person because you work for the government.
Right.
And an immigrant would be a person.
Right.
Because why? Why would an immigrant be a
It's
person?
an individual as opposed to a group.
No.
In my mind.
Well, an immigrant is a person because they have to ask permission from the government in order to come here.
Okay.
So they weren't born with their rights from their creator,
Okay.
like we were.
I see how
right?
you look at it.
If you're born here, okay, then you're one of the people.
Okay.
When you're not doing commerce, if you don't work for the government,
Okay.
if you're not in the military, right? Because see, when you volunteered to join the police department, what you did is you volunteered to step into your person,
Okay.
the right of the people to be secure in their person.
Right.
Well, it goes without saying that they're secure when they're not in their person. I mean, we don't even need to talk about that because the
Right.
people are up here, right? And the government is of the people, for the people, and by the people. So they're below. So, if you're a servant of the people, would you agree?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so if you're a servant of the people, you can't tell the people what to do. Servants don't tell their master what to do. But you tell persons what to do. You have 100% authority over persons at all times.
Okay, I see
At
the
all
delineation
times.
that you're making. Yes, sir.
Right? But
Yes, sir.
the only way to tell one of the people what to do is if you're protecting another one of the people's rights. So, like, everybody has the right to life. Okay? If I was to taken somebody's life, then I had abridged their rights.
Right.
Right? And so, of course, you got to protect their rights too.
Right.
Right? Like if I robbed somebody or whatever. But like when we get into things like the state of Texas is the victim, okay, then we're talking about persons.
Right.
Right? Because only a person can harm the state of Texas. I mean, the state of Texas only exists on paper.
Right.
And persons only exist on paper.
Right.
Right? So a living, breathing human cannot hurt the state that it created.
Right.
if that makes sense.
Right.
You know, I like
that's all
you.
just legal.
Absolutely, it's legal.
Mumbo jumbo, for lack of a better.
You're calling it semantics.
Correct.
Well, let's say
But that's a better definition than my mumbo jumbo.
Well, can we
at
agree that the
5 in the
Constitution
morning.
is a contract?
Oh, absolutely.
Anything in writing, an agreement between two
absolutely.
people in writing. So it's a written contract.
Absolutely.
And all contracts are enforceable in any court of law?
Most are, yes.
Okay, well, in that contract, let's say that we made a contract, you and I, and you agreed to sell me 1,000 blue shirts.
Okay.
And then on delivery, we find out that they're actually navy blue shirts.
Okay.
Okay, now one could say that's semantics, but when we get down to it, it's not the same color.
Right.
Right? And you know, this is a different color, people and persons, because see, when you're using the color of law, right, in order to arrest somebody.
Right.
Okay. Well, under color of law, if you're arresting a person and accusing them of, or arresting one of the people, and you're accusing them of being a person is an element of the crime.
Right.
Right. You have to prove all the elements.
Right.
You know, and so the first thing any one of your codes says, like in the transportation code, you know, all of the codes, they start out, no person shall do this.
Right.
Right? You know, it's unlawful for a person to walk on, upon, or across a highway, right? Well, it doesn't say the people can't do it. Oh, thank God.
Realize by breaking the person curse. Yeah. Right.